Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to switch things up and I will be talking about period products. So, I am talking about this because I have been on a journey for several years now trying to figure out what the best period products are for me. And there's not really a lot of information about the different products and how they work and why and like what's, I guess, better, not better, pros and cons, that kind of thing. So I really want to get into that, and I am the type of person that will keep trying until I find what works best for me. So I want to pass on any of that information that I have figured out for me in case that's happening to somebody else, so they kind of know where to go next or maybe what to try next, and what companies you can try for the different products and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to start off by saying that I just used pads and tampons for the first several years that I got a period. So all through middle school, high school. It wasn't until about 5 years ago that I started trying to use a menstrual cup, and I also started getting into being less wasteful, zero waste, plastic free, that kind of thing. And I'll have other videos about the other zero waste or less waste products that I use. But the cup was definitely the first thing because I really didn't like, one, how much I would have to spend every month on period products, and then two, that it was so wasteful. So of course pads, disposable pads are very wasteful, and then tampons, the plastic applicator is very wasteful, and then of course the tampon itself. And I think there are some components might be biodegradable and that kind of thing, and I'll get more into tampons and that later. But that was really a lot of the reason why I wanted to start trying to use a cup. So the first cup I used was the Diva Cup. And that was before I had any kids. And it was pretty comfortable. But it would leak sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time it would leak. So I stopped using that, and I went back to the pads and the tampons. And then I had kids, and then after my first kid, I couldn't use tampons. It was not comfortable for almost a year after I had him. And so all I would use was pads. So then after that year, then I decided to try the cup again. So then I ordered the Saalt Cup. And that one did not work out for me either. And at the time, that was all that was kind of available was the period cups. And if there was anything else that was zero waste, it was kind of obscure. It wasn't very easy to find. So all I knew about was the menstrual cups. So I do know for me, my cervix is tilted. So I think that's really why I have such an issue with the cups, that I leak every time. So the Diva Cup I would leak, the Saalt Cup I would leak. So then after that I had my second kid, and then again tampons didn't work, and so I would just use pads, but I really didn't like pads, and the pads and tampons with the better materials and ingredients are a lot pricier, so I really didn't like having that expense that's even more expensive to not put chemicals inside my body. So I don't like that those are so much more expensive. So then I tried the Flex Disc. And with the Flex Disc, so that is disposable, so that does get pretty pricey, especially if you go through a lot of them during your cycle, then it can get pretty pricey every month, and again, it's wasteful. So I did like the disc better than the cup, but it still leaked a lot. So I would still have to wear a pad because it leaked so much. And I couldn't get it right, and a lot of times I would feel it, and so it was not comfortable. So after that, I also tried the soft disc, which is like the little bit cheaper version than the flex disc, and it was pretty much the same thing. It was even worse, and it was more uncomfortable. So I wore one, and I returned the rest. So I didn't even use more than one of those discs. And again, those are disposable as well, so that would have been super wasteful. So then after that, I went back to trying the menstrual cup. So I tried the Flex Cup because it has like a string, like a tampon, so you can pull it out easier, and I liked that aspect, so that's why I tried it. And that portion does work great. But for me, it was too big. It was very uncomfortable. I could not get it in place correctly, so again, I would leak a lot, and then because of the string and that extra material, it made it really uncomfortable. So for me, Flex Cup, no go. So then the next cup I tried was the June Cup, because it was a lot smaller, and they had a sale where you could try it, and it was only $6. So I tried the June Cup, and that one was a lot more comfortable because it was so small, and it was the smallest cup that I had tried. So that aspect was better, but I could not get it in and comfortable more than once. So if I got it in once and then wore it for the day, if I emptied it and put it back in, I could not get it comfortable again. So that wasn't really comfortable. It was only sustainable, like I said, for maybe the first day, and that was it. And again, I would leak a lot. So then I decided that I would try period underwear and reusable pads. So I don't mind washing them. I don't mind that whole process of, having bloody underwear or pads and washing them. That's totally fine with me. So I tried those, and I like them a lot. They are very comfortable because they're totally different than actual pads because it really does absorb. So they're a lot more comfortable, so there's no like weird smell or anything like that. So I like those a lot better. But my flow is so heavy that I have to change them out every like hour to 2 hours. So for me, it's not really sustainable like to wear them all day like maybe someone with less of a flow would be able to do. So for me, there's still a lot of changing out my underwear over and over every hour or two. And then with that, I also have to think about what clothes am I wearing. So I wear my sneakers all day. So if I'm wearing leggings and my period underwear, then I have to untie my shoes, take off my shoes, take off my leggings, take off the underwear, and then put a new pair of underwear back on, and then put my leggings back on, put my shoes back on, and tie my shoes again. So for me, doing that every 1 to 2 hours just it's not really sustainable for me throughout my period. So I can wear dresses or skirts or shorts that are easy to take on and off that can go over my shoes. So I do really have to think about what clothes I'm wearing if I am just wearing the period underwear, because I am changing that out so much. Now with the pad, it is easier. I only have like 6 pads, so those don't last me, over the course of several days. But those are easier because, you don't have to take everything off to change those out, and those just have a little snap. So those are easier, but I do like the underwear better, and I feel like the underwear absorbs better. So the underwear I have is Bambody, and then the pads that I have is Leekalos, and I'll tag everything below, so y'all can see which ones I'm using and which ones I've tried, and everything I liked and didn't like. So after I used those for several periods, and I actually bought a lot of the underwear. I think I bought like 12 pairs of the underwear so that I could actually change them throughout the day, and then I just wash them every day of my period. So I have to have time to wash them and then hang them to dry so they can't go in the dryer. So I hang them to dry, and then they pretty much have to air dry like all day before they're totally dry. So that does take a lot of time. So like I said, if you are having to change them out a lot, then you also have to think about the time to wash them and then dry them before you can use them again, because they won't just be ready right away. And that doesn't quite bother me, but on days when it's really heavy and it's maybe not absorbing as quickly, I really wanted to try something else. And I especially did want to try something else in case I'm ever going swimming, or if I'm just, doing something where I don't want to be changing out underwear and that kind of thing. So I found the Cora Disc. So this is the third disc that I would be trying, but it's the first reusable disc that I tried, because I hadn't really ever seen reusable discs. I'd only been seeing the cups. So I got excited about the disc because it sits in a totally different place than the cup. And really I feel like the cup was uncomfortable because of where it's supposed to sit, and that was just really uncomfortable for me. So I got the Cora Disc, and this has been my favorite period product out of all the ones that I've tried. It's super easy to use. It goes in super easy. It is a little difficult to get out, but once I figured it out, then I could do it. I actually saw a TikTok of someone explaining 3 different ways that you can take a disc out, and that really helped me to figure out that I needed to grab it with 2 fingers rather than just trying to hook my finger under the little portion where you're supposed to pull it out. It's too slippery. So the disc worked great. I did leak a little bit, but I was prepared to leak a little bit, so I was wearing my period underwear. And because it was only a little bit, I could actually wear the underwear for several hours and it was completely absorbed and I wasn't wet at all. So that was a huge plus. And then that way I could wear the disc without worrying about it, without worrying about leaking or leaking on my clothes. And then, like I said, I was comfortable with the disc and in the underwear. So that was a huge, huge plus for me. That made my period so much easier. I had less underwear to wash. I was more comfortable, and I was very, very happy. So my recommendation, if you want to do something zero waste, I would definitely say the Cora Disc is great. If you have a lighter flow, then the period underwear might be enough, especially if you get the overnight underwear. That might be, all you need. So I would definitely recommend both of those. If you do leak a little, or if you have found a cup that's comfortable but maybe it leaks a little, I would say just wear the period underwear with it. And if maybe that's not comfortable, then definitely the disc. So those would be my recommendations. That's what I found works best for me. And also, what I like is that now that I've bought these, I don't have to buy any new ones for several years. So that's a huge plus for me, that I'm not having to spend money every single month for new period products, and there's no waste. So the only thing I'm doing is, washing it. And then the one product I do have to buy is the soap to clean the disc, but the soap really does go a long way and you only have to use a little bit. So one bottle of the soap lasts over several period cycles. So lower cost overall, and eco-friendly, which I love. It's very, very important to me. And like I said, I'll do some other videos about other products that I'm using that are zero waste and plastic free. But the first one I wanted to do was about period products, because that is something that has really been a pain for me for a couple years now, and I finally found something that works for me, so I'm really excited about it and really wanted to share about it. So that is it. If anybody has any questions, or if you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about next, maybe products that I've tested or anything like that, definitely comment. If you could like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!